just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
Well, this year marks 30 years since Rookie of the Year. Can you believe it's been 3 decades?
No. I mean, technically, it's been 3 decades for me since we filmed it, so next year will be the official 30th in 2023.
You know, who knows how many kids you influenced with that movie?
It's if you would have told me 20 years ago that the film would still be playing now and that it's, you know, it's on cable all the time and people are showing it.
I love movies, and I love baseball. I remember coming home as a kid, flipping on WGN and catching an afternoon Chicago Cubs baseball game. The call of the game from Harry Carey.
Harry Carey back at Wrigley Field. Well, she wasn't in the right field bleachers yesterday, Arnie.
All-time greats like Sammy Sosa, Mark Grace, and 12-year-old Henry Rowan-Gardner.
Rosenberger!
Ah, the Chicago Cubs on WGN and baseball movies. Neither exist anymore. Getting a Hollywood film studio to back a baseball movie today is like asking Chris Pratt to do an Italian accent.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Let me think it over, will you, Charlie? I got a guy on the other line about some white walls. I'll talk to you later.
Now, there are a ton of films I love, and I plan on talking about a bunch of them, including more baseball movies. But why Rookie of the Year first? Well, it contains one of my all-time favorite movie scenes in any film. But first, let's quickly break down who's starring in the movie and other film credits and facts. First is Thomas Ian Nicholas. He stars as Henry Rowan-Gardner Gardenhoser.
Rosenberger!
He has an accident where he breaks his shoulder and his tendons fuse to his healed bones. You know, everyday accidents, causing them to heal too tightly, I guess? Allowing him to do this.
And now rotate from the shoulder slowly.
Funky butt loving. Did he say funky butt loving?
Yes. Yes, he did. In a children's movie. God bless the 90s. A probably sane and maybe sober Gary Busey is playing veteran pitcher Chet Rocket Steadman. Busey's fine. I love him. He's not like one of my favorite actors, but I always seem to really like him in whatever role he's playing. But he plays this role as good as any actor who's been nominated for an Oscar, taking a payday in a children's movie. But after all these years, I honestly couldn't imagine anyone else playing the role. Co-starring Eddie Bracken as the Cubs owner, I'm sure most of you will remember him from Home Alone 2.
Poor Mr. Carson. His last season as team owner. He must be really depressed. Oh, but! Fish! 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 Look! A decoder ring! I got it out of the Cracker Jack box!
Albert Hall, who I remember mostly from Malcolm X, plays the Chicago Cubs manager. Amy Morton as Henry's mom.
I know about Dad.
What?
I know that he left you when you were pregnant with me.
How did you know that?
Grandma told me when I was in 2nd grade.
Classic 90s villain Dan Hedaya as Cubs GM Larry Fisher. I remember him from the Addams Family mostly, or just being evil in every role that he's in, it seems like. And then there's also Neil Flynn. You'll remember him as the janitor from Scrubs as first baseman Stan Oki. And of course, Daniel Stern, who plays Cubs pitching coach Phil Brickma. Now, I'm sure everyone knows Daniel Stern from his roles in Home Alone 1 and 2, but what I didn't know as a kid is that he actually directed this movie. And surprisingly, it's directed pretty well, including beautiful shots of a packed Wrigley Field filmed between an actual doubleheader between the Cubs and Cardinals.
And how did Thomas and the rest of the cast take to director Dan Stern?
We know how to talk to each other. He doesn't treat me like you know, some little kid.
I've been in this business a lot longer than this kid.
Dan Stern is remarkable. He's an amazing first-time director.
Play out this way again, Thomas.
When I walked on the set, I said to him, when I heard you were directing this, I said, I'll do it. I don't care what it is.
And he's just a great, creative, humorous, entertaining guy.
Damn, I'm good.
And to this day, Daniel Stern hasn't directed another movie. According to his Wikipedia, he's in pre-production of a movie that he is writing, starring, and directing in. So good for him. It's just surprising that another film studio hasn't asked him to come back to direct, especially after Rookie of the Year made a profit, which is hard for a baseball movie to do sometimes. The music was done by Bill Conti, and it's one of my all-time favorite movie scores ever. Don't know who Bill Conti is? You can tell he goes all out for this score.
Oh, wow. Whoa. Come on.
Hey, wait.
I'm sure some of you are wondering why I haven't talked about the great late John Candy. This was on purpose, because after the movie was filmed, producers actually liked what they saw and threw more money into the production. So they brought in John Candy in an uncredited role as Cubs play-by-play announcer Cliff Murdoch. And boy, what a game changer that was, as I can't even imagine this movie without him. John Candy would pass away just less than a year after the movie's release. And at this point, I was going to show you guys my favorite scene from Rookie of the Year, but no matter how many times I try to upload it, it will not go through on YouTube. It is not available anywhere on YouTube. I tried to find a scene anywhere to clip in the description. Nowhere. YouTube just blocks it immediately because the scene is so awesome. But I did manage to get it on my Twitter, so the link is in the description. The scene, of course, is the Rocket's last stand, where he puts everything on the line, where his shoulder is about to go, and he knows it, but he still throws out there to win the division for the Cubs. And it comes down to one scene where his arm just is blown, and he can't throw the ball to home, and he's got to charge to home. Man, I love this scene, and a lot of it's probably because of Bill Conti. Once again, this score has no business being this good, and I think it's one of the reasons, among others, like John Candy, and just it being the Chicago Cubs, for the reason it has lived on so long, especially for me at least. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, I'm sorry I couldn't put the clip on here. Thank you, YouTube, for that. My very first video. But I appreciate you guys watching till the very end. Thank you.